Welcome back to our series on the legendary Stan Lee. So, where were we? Ah yes, Stan had just been promoted to interim editor at Timely Comics, all at the ripe old age of 19. It was a huge step up, but it came with its own set of challenges. The comics industry back then wasn't exactly what you'd call prestigious. In fact, many people looked down on it. Stan himself felt a bit embarrassed. He was dreaming of writing the next great American novel, but here he was, churning out stories about superheroes and funny animals. He even considered quitting. He felt like he was just a cog in a machine, not a real writer. He would tell people he was a writer, and when they asked what he wrote, he'd mumble comics under his breath. He was so concerned about his reputation that he didn't even use his real name, Stanley Lieber. He saved that for the great novel he was sure he would write one day, and that's how Stan Lee was born. It was supposed to be a temporary pseudonym, something to hide behind until he made it big in the literary world. Little did he know, that name would become more famous than he could ever imagine. Life wasn't all about comics, though. In 1942, Stan enlisted in the US Army, joining the Signal Corps, but don't picture him on the front lines. The Army, in its infinite wisdom, saw his writing talent and decided he was more valuable with a pen than a rifle. He was one of only 9 playwrights in the entire US Army. His job? Writing training manuals, creating cartoons, and even producing films. He wrote everything from slogans for public health campaigns to scripts for training videos. It was a strange gig, but it kept his creative skills sharp. He was basically a one-man propaganda machine, but for a good cause. After the war, he returned to his old job at Timely Comics, which was now called Atlas Comics. The post-war years were tough for the comic book industry. Superheroes were out of fashion, and the market was flooded with romance, western, and monster comics. Stan had to adapt. He wrote whatever was selling, churning out stories across every genre imaginable. He was a professional, a craftsman, but the creative spark just wasn't there. He was going through the motions, feeling more like a factory worker than an artist. The dream of writing that great novel was fading, and he was seriously considering walking away from comics for good. He was on the verge of quitting, feeling utterly burnt out and uninspired. He complained to his wife, Joan, about how tired he was of writing simple, dumbed-down stories for kids. He wanted to write something with depth, with complex characters and real-world problems. And Joan, in a moment of pure genius, gave him the best advice of his life. She said, "Why don't you write one comic book the way you've always wanted to write it? The worst that can happen is that they fire you. And since you want to quit anyway, what have you got to lose?" That conversation changed everything. It was like a light bulb went off in his head. What did he have to lose? Absolutely nothing. With this newfound freedom, Stan sat down with his longtime collaborator, the brilliant artist Jack Kirby, and they decided to create something completely different. They threw out the old rules. Their heroes wouldn't be perfect, godlike figures. They would be flawed, human, and relatable. They would have arguments, worrying about paying the rent, and deal with personal problems, all while saving the world. And from that burst of creative energy, the Fantastic Four was born in 1961. It wasn't just a comic, it was a revolution. Readers had never seen anything like it. This wasn't just another superhero team. They were a family, complete with all the squabbles and affection that implies. The success was immediate and overwhelming. It was the start of something massive, something that would come to be known as the Marvel Age of Comics. Stan Lee was no longer just a writer. He was on his way to becoming a pop culture icon. He had finally found his voice, not in a novel, but in the very medium he once looked down upon. Join us next time as we dive into the explosive creation of the Marvel Universe and the incredible characters that defined a generation. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe for part 4.